Offload. Welcome. I think we're going to call this The Hook. Welcome to the first episode of The Hook. And today, we are going to review the USA Rugby Women's World Cup squad. This was released yesterday, so if you haven't had a chance, check it out on usarugby.org and at USA Rugby on Twitter. So, a couple things to run down. The squad is only 28 players deep. The last World Cup squad was 36 players deep. I'm unsure as to why Coach Steinberg chose not to go with the extra 8 players based on the depth needed to compete at a World Cup. You just get injuries, and I mean, you really don't want to call people up, and I think that's what's going to end up happening personally. So within this squad, we've got 2 Olympians, 7 WPL champions, 7 World Cup vets. And like I said back during the Can-Am series as a review and what was going on, roughly about half of Canada's squad, I think they brought down like 32, 34 maybe for the Can-Am series, were all World Cup vets, and a few of them were multiple World Cup vets. So they were an older squad, even though they had plenty of young talent. We're very young when it comes to our international game. Only 7 of these women were in the last World Cup. So a lot of our last Women's World Cup ladies were veterans. And it was, time to hang up the boots and transition into a coaching role or administrator role with their club and continue on with their personal life. So let's get into the forwards. So I would say Nick James is a utility prop, not because she's a utility prop, but she is very versatile. She plays for Houston Athletic Rugby Club. She's a debutante. This will be her first cap. But if you know Nick James, she's pretty out there when it comes to what she can do. Like I said, she plays for Hark. She coaches women at Texas A&M, and she's also one of the top referees in the state of Texas. She plays loose head, tight head, and hooker, but might want to see what she can do at loose head. She's pretty strong. Shout out to my friend Grant Cole at This is Texas Rugby for that awesome scouting report on her. Tiffany Faye, prop. She played loose head in the matches against Canada. She plays for New York Rugby Club, and she captained the side during the Can-Am series. She played loose head during that time. However, she plays tight head for New York Rugby Club. I didn't really like her playing at loose head. She got dominated by Canada's tight head. So, but if she is a tight head, start her at tight head. That's all I gotta say. Catherine Benson. She plays for Life West. She's another, I would say, utility prop. I would say versatile prop, not utility prop. Utility prop is someone that's like sort of good at all the positions, but not very good. Well, Catherine Benson, like Nick James, is extremely versatile, very good at all 3 front row positions. She can play loose head, hooker, and tight head. She's a very good tight head and a very good hooker. Then we got Stacey Bridges, lock, Twin City Amazons. Katie Augustin, hooker, Berkeley All Blues. Jordan Gray, 8-man, she plays for Life West. She's a BYU product. For those of you not familiar with Jordan Gray, she's originally from Canada and came through the system here when she first attended BYU. And, she's just been repping the red, white, and blue for about, I want to say, hazard 8 or 9 years. So, she's all about being an Eagle. Abby Gustatis, she's a lock and an 8-man. She plays for the Northern Virginia Rugby Club and had played at University of Maryland. Very good player. Very good player. And then we go to Samantha Panky, hooker. If you haven't seen Samantha, she's She's probably one of the top pure hookers on this squad. I would say, to an extent, she and Katie Augustin are the only pure hookers on the squad. The rest of the props are very, very versatile. And let's go into Christiane Feil. Man, if you wanted to see a bruiser out there, she can ball. She plays for Chicago North Shore. Loved watching her play at 8 against Canada in the early spring. Then we go with Naima Reddick, tight head, Seattle Saracens. Very good player, and currently a club representative to a committee with USAR. So, Naima playing with Saracens. A little background, Saracens do not play in the open national championship pathway this last year. I think their schedule is going to change next year to allow them to do so. Before 2017, they were the Division I national champions in 2015 and 2016. They play in the tough BC Premier League. I would say it's close to being on par with the WPL as far as competition is. It's one of the top competitions in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's very tough. So after that, we have Jamila Reinhardt. She is a true loose head. She plays for San Diego Surfers, another very good player. Hope Rogers is a prop from the San Diego Surfers. She has played both tight head and loose head this year. I'm not really sure what her natural position is. Then we have Alicia Washington from New York Rugby Club. She is a lock. And finally, we have Kate Zachary. Kate Zachary appears to be the only pure flanker on this squad. Everyone else, Christiane Feil, Abby Gustatis, and Jordan Gray all play 8-man. So I'm not really sure what Coach Steinberg was going for, and maybe that's just how they fit. Sometimes, you have a bunch of fullbacks, but they're going to fit better into your system. I wasn't in San Diego for the long camp, so I can't really, talk about it. But I think up front, other than, the fact that a lot of these players, a lot of these ladies, I think more than a few will be playing outside their natural position. They're all extremely good. And when you're an 8, you can play 6 or 7. That's a fact. You are, a loose forward. Todd Clever, as an example, he's early in his career, he was an open side at 7, and then most of the time I watched him playing for the Eagles, he was a 6. And during that period of time where he wasn't in the Eagles lineup, he was playing for Newcastle as an 8 starting. So that tells you how good you got to be. When you play 8, you need to play 6, and you need to play 7. It's just got to be versatile. And I think that's what Coach Steinberg identified here, especially with the smaller squad that he's bringing to the World Cup in Ireland. Now let's go to the backs. Jessica Javelin, I don't know how she fits, but she plays in the women's 7. It's also her first cap. Kayla Kennett, she's a fly half for Penn State University. Sylvia Bratton, inside center, TC Amazons. Cheta Emba, I think she fits better on the wing, but she played center during the Can-Am series and did pretty well. Nicole Heverland, fly half, women's 7s. In the second match where she started at fly half in the Can-Am series, she did very well. I really like her there. Very young player, but man, she can ball. So I think with her and Kayla Kennett, and I'll get down to Kimber Rosier, we've got some great fly halves. Alev Kelter, in the first match against Canada, she played wing. I didn't really like her on the wing based on who were the centers. She's just not very versatile on the wing because she was basically playing in the centers rather than on the wing. Or I would put her at fullback, and that's because, and when I say not very versatile on the wing, Kelter, she's amazing. like she covers so much range. So putting her on the wing limits what she can do for you. So as a center or fullback, I think that gives you everything she can bring to the table on the field. Her work rate is tremendous, and there's nothing better than having her on the field. She's it. Then we got Deborah Lonnie. She's a scrum half, plays for the San Diego Surfers. Very good player. Very good player. If you watched the WPL match, watching her at 9, it was very smooth. Then we have Kimber Rosier at fly half. She plays for the Scion Sirens. Another very good fly half. Then we've got Nia Tapper. I think she's an excellent wing. She plays wing in 7s, but she played in the centers during the Can-Am series. So I would put her out on the wing, purely. Kristen Thomas, she's a wing. Women's 7s, very fast player as well. Jess Wooden, fullback, Aylesford Rugby. So I think that, we're sort of short on our scrum halves and short on our centers, to be honest. And this is where we go into why do we have a 28-man squad. I don't know what Coach Steinberg's limitations were, but 28 players over this period of time. We're going to be playing 3 matches in 8 days. Ladies, y'all getting the big WRB shaft. I'm sorry. I gotta say this schedule for the Women's World Cup looks really poor. Our pool, we've got England in it. They're the defending champs. So, but based on the other 2 teams in the pool, we're getting out. Win 2 games, play England last. So I think it's Italy's first, then Argentina. Don't quote me on that. But win our first 2 games, play England hard, and advance. That's it. Very strong squad overall. I'm sort of 2 people I would have wanted to see here on the squad were Phaedra Knight. That would have given us 8 World Cup veterans. At certain points, you need to, when you're bringing in a very young squad, you need to bring in leadership, and Phaedra brings that leadership to the table. And she's still a very successful player. I understand she's older, but she can still hit. She can still run that ball. And then a women's 7s player that was left out that I don't understand at all is Ryan Carlisle. Well, I think I understand it, but I'm not sure. She was injured during the Can-Am series and took a while to recover. She then played at the Clermont 7s in the final tour stop of the HSBC World Series of 7s for the women. So she might just still be hurt, and players play hurt, and she might not have been ready. But I would have liked to see her on this squad. Give me a shout on who you think else should have made this squad. Like I said, I would have liked to have taken 36 women rather than 28, because I think it doesn't. We're using a lot of players that are much more versatile, but we don't have depth at pure positions. So I think we're going to do very well in our pool, and we'll advance to the quarterfinal. So check back on the hook for preview of our first match in a couple of weeks.